What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. This time we're going to be reacting to another death battle, and it's going to be Gray versus Esdeath. This was requested by Blaze the Hedgehog. Now, I would have done this sooner, but literally I didn't. I've never watched Fairy Tale, and I've never watched, what was the other one? Akio.
Akame got killed.
Yeah, never seen them. So I didn't know anything about the characters. So I didn't want to react to a death battle that I probably wouldn't have had any interest in whatsoever because I don't know
Mm.
who's fighting. What I did do, I did go back and watch all of. What's the other one?
Akame got killed.
Thank you. I went back and I watched all of that. Like I binge watched it. It was tough because the voice acting sucked. Like the English voice acting. Like honestly, I love dub,
Mm.
but that dub sucked. Jeez, it was horrible. Um, with Fairy Tale, it was hard for me to even really get into it because there was a bunch of seasons, and I didn't know how far in those seasons
Mm.
I would have to go to in order to see what's his name, Gray, I think,
Mm.
fight. So I went and watched a few YouTube videos, and the most that I saw was like it was very lackluster. It wasn't as like amazing as what I saw in
Mm.
the other one.
Akame got killed.
Akame got killed. Yeah, yeah, but we'll see. And Denonu, I think you said that you saw Fairy Tale, right?
Yes, I haven't seen all of it, but I've seen I want to say up to like 60, 70 episodes of it.
Oh, okay, yeah, way more than me. Um, what about the other one? The
The
Akame got
the other
killed.
one I got about halfway through and it just never grabbed me, so I never really like I liked what I saw, but it just seemed like it was taking a while to get to the meat of the plot of what it was about.
Yeah,
So it's just like I put it down and just never had the urge to go back and rewatch it.
honestly, I didn't feel like there was a fucking plot anyway. It was just a bunch of killing. That was it. Like,
Yeah, I heard everybody died at the end, but I don't know if
yeah,
that's true or not.
very very close. It was like I okay. It was just a reason to get to kill people, but okay. Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, let me hit that play button.
The element of ice is cold and unforgiving. Literally! Only in an equally frigid and unmerciful land can one understand its true potential.
Like Gray Fullbuster, Ice Mage of the Fairy Tale Guild.
And Esdeath, the Imperial General from Akamigaki.
Esdeath gets my win based on looks. Just throwing that out
It's
there.
his job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who
Probably into that Dom stuff though.
I am too. She was a huge dom in that. Like she was really dom.
Yeah, I figured that based on her how she was dressed. Like give her
Yeah.
one of those cattle things.
Gray Fullbuster was a child of the North, living among the frigid cold.
Until an edgy-looking demon showed up and wiped out the whole place. Gray survived,
Edgy.
though everyone else wasn't so lucky.
So he's the anime
He
protagonist.
got adopted by a hot stripper.
This was Ur, and she just so happened to be one of the greatest ice mages in the
That's
world.
why, like in Fairy Tale, he always that's why he doesn't have a shirt on because he was raised by that chick.
Oh,
And he needed to master ice magic to do it.
Gray worked tirelessly and eventually became a master of ice make molding magic, essentially crafting weapons, tools, and other inanimate objects out of ice.
Swords,
okay.
shields, hammers, grappling hooks, stairs, clones of himself, anything he wants really. He can even whip out a friggin' ice bazooka. He
Oh,
also took after new mom and became a regular Chippendale himself. Yeah, he really never stopped doing that.
But with powerful magic at his beck and call, Gray became reckless, desperate to prove himself and destroy the demon. Sadly, this carelessness would change his life for the worse one more time.
He tried to take the demon out himself, but things didn't go so great. Even with his shiny new powers. Whoa. Gray learned how to do all this cool ice magic by stripping.
Well,
Ice magic, here I come! Oil me up, whiz!
no. Removing clothes was just part of Ur's training. See, she
bruh.
instructed Gray to do so in order to adapt to the cold to better resist it, letting him have a much greater range when it comes to his own ice magic.
Why didn't you say that 5 seconds
He
ago?
had a pole.
Had the pole ready and waiting, man.
Anyway, Gray was outmatched by the demon, and was forced to step in with her ultimate spell, Ice Shell.
It's a super handy move that can freeze a giant demon like that for good. Haha!
at the cost of the caster's life.
Ah, there it is. If that's not bad enough, Ray learned an ultimate version called Lost Ice Shell.
So who'd he learn that from?
Heals you, but as a bonus, it also erases the memories of you from everyone who ever knew you.
Sure,
Damn.
the Lost Ice Shell is hundreds of times.
I mean, if you're dying, then who cares?
It's a guaranteed win move if he has enough time to cast it. But how does that even work? Say Gray cut off your arm, leaving you handicapped for years, then Lost Ice shelled himself elsewhere. That would be a very confusing day.
Is that how I lost my
Oh, I lost my arm.
Well, speaking of lost, Gray Filibuster had lost 2 families at this point.
But once again,
Filibuster.
he found new footing and new friends. This time with the mages of the fairy.
That was one of my favorite characters. What was the name? Urza? Armor chick? Puts in work.
You can ship them. Everybody does, including them.
Now full from a serious helping of humble pie, Gray changed his tune. No longer would he be a reckless avenger, but a cautious, laid-back defender of his new friends. Which works out since this is the sort of world where fighting for your friends actually increases your magical power. True story.
Damn, this sounds boring.
Started keeping a cool head, huh? Yep, no more demon hunting for him.
It reminds me of One Piece.
Got demon killing magic, of course.
It
Okay, can you
doesn't.
pause that?
It doesn't hurt that the art style is just like it almost.
Yeah. Made 600 kilotons of ice. Okay, like over time or in one time or what? Like, what kind was it? A giant boulder?
I would assume
Dude,
at one time.
Okay, duped Silver Filibuster with an ice clone. Withstood in Veil's magical ice. Survived ice that froze Natsu's fire. Thawed the frozen eternal flame. Similar in power to Natsu and Ezra, and defeated what?
Defeated Lion, Altair, Rufus, Envy, or Envy.
I guess I gotta fucking know those people. I don't know those people. But like surviving ice that froze fire. That's crazy.
Yeah, Natsu, he's the main character. So his fire comes, like he was trained by a dragon to use his fire. Like fire is his thing. So he can make fire that's like really, really hot, and he can
That's the hothead guy.
Yeah, that's the guy he was bumping heads with in the previous scene. And he can eat fire to make himself stronger.
Oh.
Which is really weird, but
And this dude froze fire.
yeah, he froze his fire.
I don't see how you do that because fire is intangible, but okay.
Yeah, one speeds up molecules, one slows it down. You can't really freeze fire. It's not how it works. But magic, you don't have to explain it.
There you go. It has to be some really, really cold ice. You can keep going.
Become extremely resistant to ice attacks, mess around with other people's ice magic, and conjure spells designed to kill demons.
Which would have been really, really handy just a little bit ago.
What does that say up there?
With all this magic.
While Gray has not heavily utilized the ice absorption ability, it was confirmed that he gained it from his father, so he can absorb ice.
Holy crap.
An entire town all at once, or stir up an ice storm that covered the country of Fiore.
By comparing Invil's ice storm to the scale of Fiore based on official maps, it appears the force and energy of the storm would be equivalent to more than 27 gigatons of TNT.
Now
Whoa.
that's a big ass storm, and it makes sense, as Gray can fight on par with.
Hey, go back. What was that thing?
What thing?
27 gigatons of.
This here?
This was factored into calculations assuming benefit of the doubt for total coverage. Okay.
Yeah, it says Fiore was 1/20th its usual size at the time of this ice storm. This was factored in the calculation.
Okay.
TNT.
Now that's a big ass storm, and it makes sense, as Gray can fight on par with fellow guildies Natsu and Urza. Natsu has dodged lightning, and Urza blew up this giant meteor all by herself.
Measuring the distance between the meteor and land in this shot.
Bruh.
That's what I was saying. She puts in work.
We found that Urza must have been moving over 20,000 times the speed of sound to intercept it, striking it with a force of over 50 teratons of TNT.
And Gray should definitely be in the same.
That said, the Phoenix and Phoenix Priestess plan to eradicate all life on the planet, but this was implied to be done over time and does not scale with Gray.
Okay.
Ballpark at least, especially since Urza wasn't even at her full strength.
Truly, as long as Gray keeps his pants on, literally, he is a fierce warrior who will always fight for his friends.
I've got a will all of my own. And it says my friends and I are gonna walk the path of life.
Bruh, that dude is
As a
broken.
child, Esdeath lived among her clan in the northern frontier, hunting giant monsters.
And we'll see how broken this chick is.
with her father.
Awesome. Now that's
Not
how I was a
as.
kid. Look at the size of that thing. Where can I get a hunting license for those?
However, Esdeath's destiny would lie further south, among a 1,000-year-old empire.
Because what do you know? Her whole clan got wiped out, leaving her as the lone survivor. Now, normally this would lead to a dramatic revenge story and a lesson on friendship and appreciating what you have and stuff. But, that's not what happened.
Right. Esdeath ascribed herself to a sort of survival of the fittest philosophy. To her, if her father lay dead before her, that didn't mean she should be sad or angry. That meant her father was weak.
You're damn right. Finally, somebody knows what I'm talking about. That's my power of friendship. This girl's got it all figured out.
Well,
Wait, was that on his dick?
her own and
Nah, that was on
maybe
his legs.
joined
I
the militant ranks of the
I was like, damn, what did he do?
I mean, technically.
found a new calling.
Yeah, like when she buried 400,000 people alive. Mama
Damn.
Stick always told me you should enjoy your work, so good for her, I guess. She even got a promotion and an offer of a new weapon that would change everything. A Tegu.
Esdeath was already extremely proficient with a sword, but this was something entirely different. A Tegu is a supernatural relic forged from the remnants of special danger beasts. They
Yep.
can take the form of anything from a battle axe to a flute to a giant pair of scissors. However, Esdeath chose one so unique, most were absolutely terrified.
Pause right quick.
It was
That axe.
Mhm.
That axe reminds me of Zack's axe from Power Rangers. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, that's damn near his axe. You just need to put a shotgun at the other end.
Esdeath chose one so unique, most were absolutely terrified of it. It was blood, the demon's extract.
And because she's totally sane and normal
Note that Esdeath Tengu is demonic in name only.
person, she drank it. All of it. Okay.
After surviving the side effects, you know, the usual headaches, nausea, maddening voices in her head telling her to kill everyone, Esdeath earned her reward.
Ice
It's supposed to be from a dragon.
She can make and shape ice out of thin air. Weapons.
Okay, so she didn't start with the ice powers.
Frickin' meteors. You name it, she can make it. Plus, she can fly by holding herself in the air with ice, and once built an entire army of ice horse people. Look at them all. There's thousands of them.
Well, it did take her a few days to make them all, implying she has a limit to her ability. Regardless, her
Yeah.
enormous power is clear. She can even create a giant suit of armor around herself like some sort of icy mech.
So she's a super deadly ice lady, but she's also got a soft side.
Even with all the power she held, not even sadistic conquest or unstoppable ice magic could fill the void in her heart. Esdeath sought one thing above all else: love.
The Ice Queen needs some lovin'. I know just the man for the job.
So does she, apparently. She made a list of the specific qualities in her ideal man, who turned out to be this guy.
He's
one-
chugging that beer.
The wimpy main character?
Oh, so
Yeah.
generic anime protagonist kid.
Well, he literally is an anime protagonist.
Oh, come on, he's like a 3 out of 10 and she's not even on the chart. She's way too good for him.
Is she?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
She's crazy. Even better.
Deranged sadism aside, there is one skill of hers which impresses above all else: Mahoptama.
Hold on, pause right quick. Did you see that part?
No.
So she was sent to this land
Mm.
where this guy who was supposed to be like a legend in that area where he was fighting, he fought he fought to keep that land. That was like his land. And he had like a massive army. She showed up by her, like with herself and like a few other people. It wasn't like a massive army. Like she not only beat all their asses, but she turned that motherfucker into her puppy. So she, that chain and stuff, she had him butt ass naked, licking her boots and liking it. And then she was like talking to somebody, like to like a general and shit, and she kicked his head off.
So why did he
she
do
kicked his head off,
that?
she killed him. Huh?
So why did he do that?
Because she dominated.
So what
Like
force?
literally, she's a dom in this whole thing.
You have to let that happen. It's not like you just like,
Yo, man, look, I don't know what she did to do it, but the bitch was crazy, bro. She was really crazy. Like in this whole thing, she was very sadistic. Except for when it came to the main character, she was just like this loving woman. feminine woman, but to everybody else, she was a straight up dog.
So something that would never happen in real life.
Yeah, yeah,
Stuff
yeah.
she can only use once per day. It freezes time, but like literally freezes it with cold.
This makes no sense.
Anyway, Esdeath got to work leading her new hunting group called the Jaegers and doing as many awesome things as she could to impress that Tatsumi brat. Once she froze an entire river with zero effort. Imagine how many slushies you could make with that.
That isn't even a fraction of her true potential. After absorbing those tens of thousands of ice cavalry, Esdeath harnessed enough power to create an icy storm that spanned an entire continent. Comparing its size relative to the planet's diameter, producing a storm of this scale would require a kinetic energy over 280 petatons of TNT.
Super impressive. But remember, it took her, quote, a few days to make that many ice people.
Essentially stockpiling a lot more power than she would normally be capable of on any individual day.
But Esdeath has tangled with the toughest rebels out there. A kami who can dodge lightning, and dumb old Tatsumi who was strong enough to outmuscle this absolute unit of a Tega called, Chico Taser. Some of all these made-up German words.
Shikoteza, or the Primus Imperator, was powerful enough to create a massive crater outside the Imperial capital. To make a crater of this size, the blast must have equaled over 900 teratons of TNT.
And Esdeath is even more hardcore. Get this, one time her arm was poisoned, but before she let the poison spread to her body,
I seen that fight on YouTube.
chopped her whole freaking arm off and replaced it with an ice sword.
Mm-hmm.
Yes!
Sadly, or luckily, depending on where you stand, all the power in the world wasn't enough for Esdeath to win Tatsumi's love.
And she didn't even get to conquer the world either, because the main title character had to ruin everything.
But in the end, she didn't lament her failure to conquer, or see herself as weak. Rather, she simply regretted not being able to look at Tatsumi one more time. Perhaps her cold philosophy was growing a bit warmer. Or maybe she was just an insane psychopath.
I will always be on top. I will always be victorious, no matter what gets in my way.
Bruh. Never mind.
The combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
But first, all this talking has made me hungry for Blue Apron.
Skip past their ad here.
For blue, click, 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 click. All right, so right quick before we get into this,
Mm-hmm.
I
think-
didn't know that there was a manga. So
Oh.
all that stuff they pulled a lot of the stuff from the manga.
Yeah, and I still think it's gonna be one of those things where it's like I think Gray might win only because they mentioned he has that ice absorption thing. If her power is ice, and if he can absorb it to get stronger or whatever,
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's gonna be either that or like her freeze time thing may be able to kill him. If that's how it worked, you know?
I would say to me those would be like the two factors. If he wins, it's going to be because he absorbed her ice.
Mhm.
If she wins, it's because of the time freeze. Because
Yeah.
other than like that time freeze, and they may throw a MacGuffin in there saying like she can only time freeze for so many seconds, and if the time freeze is ice based, he can still absorb. But technically, he shouldn't be able to because once time is frozen,
Yeah.
he can't react. So yeah, I think she's still way more powerful because he froze a country, she froze a continent.
Yeah, that's two
Yeah.
big things. So
Yeah, and even if it took her days to create that many, like 1,000 soldiers to absorb them to do that to a continent, then she can still do enough of it to do a wide enough area that will probably cover the same amount of area that he did.
yeah. Yeah, it would all have to depend if his land mass was as big as the continent that she froze, and I think they brought up those numbers about how much energy output that they will both have to have. I think that's going to play into consideration when they say who's stronger or not, because I forget what his number and her number is, but it's like I think that's going to play into it. Yeah, hers was a whole lot more.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like deadly, she's more deadlier to me because that's what she does. Like in his, like on the stuff that I see with he's like more supportive role. Like,
yeah, he's all ice, whereas she's like, no, she's a nice badass fighter and then she has ice powers. So
Yeah.
if you take ice out of the equation, she could just stab him or cut him up with a sword or whatever. So, but I don't know.
I think she's gonna win.
I don't know. Well, I'll vote Gray. I'll be on the opposite side just for that ice absorption, but we'll see.
I know that's the thing. That would be the only thing. That it's the two things it comes down to.
Such a paltry country is hardly worth conquering.
Look at that. She bought her army.
Take your troops and get out.
What if he absorbs her army before she does?
Oh, just what I needed. Another crazy, blue-haired woman in my life.
Oh damn! Straight up.
You have no right to feel my boot against your face. Now. Die for me.
Ice make, crush it, flame.
What's homeboy from Naruto? I keep forgetting his name.
Sasuke.
Nuh-uh, the big one. Like the one they fight. They sent that giant meteor.
The big one. I mean,
Well, like the main bad guy, like the fight at the end. I forgot his name though.
I know Orochimaru was the earlier bad guy, but if you're talking about the guy who whooped everybody's ass, that was
Yeah, him.
Madara, I think.
Yeah, Madara. When she did the meteor, that all I think about is Madara when he did that. Yeah, you stopped the first one, but what about the second one? Yep.
Thanks for the meal. Ice make, impact.
All right, so he just did the absorption, and she ain't dead.
Ice devil, zero longsword.
But to the face.
Ah,
She's too much. Ah, I have no choice. But ice.
Everything in sight will be encased in ice.
yep. There it is, right there. Oh, come on. See. Is
that a win?
Congratulations.
Yup.
Bye.
He's gonna shatter.
Nah, he ain't break yet. So, nope. I guess that was it. Yeah.
Oh, he's supposed to.
Male stripper found dead after a crazy night with a dominatrix gone wrong. More at
Let's get to this. This was certainly an interesting matchup, and both cryomancers held their own advantages.
Oh yeah, Gray's awesome ice make powers meant he had a ton of versatility at his frosty fingertips. Like how he could eat ice to replenish his magic. She sure didn't see that one coming.
Though being the tactician she is, Esdeath likely wouldn't fall for any of Gray's tricks more than once. Also, both were in the same range of speed by scaling to feats of dodging lightning.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the Queen of Cold Kink definitely had more ice
See?
power up her sleeves. Just look at those storms. The one Grayscale's 2 covered a country, while Esdeath's covered a whole
Yep.
continent.
True, but we still had to deduce the exact nature and potential of her storm. Remember, Esdeath
Yeah.
specifically claimed it took her a few days to make the ice cavalry she used as fuel for the storm. A few generally means 3 at minimum. So we can cut the yield of our previous calculation to 1/3. Lowballing this a bit, let's assume she used all of her power each day to make 1/3 of the total cavalry. This would mean Esdeath could wield about 93 petatons worth of energy on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's way more than
That's a
Intel's
lot.
ice storm. And
What does it say?
16 times deadlier than that.
It says Gray's ice resistance does have limits, such as when he battled Invel. Nothing suggests he could ultimately survive ice magic hundreds of times stronger than his own.
Okay.
Neither Urza obliterated. Esdeath definitely had the advantage in sheer magic that much magic force, so he really only had one shot, the Lost Ice Shell.
Which certainly could have ended things right then and there, if not for Esdeath's time stop ability. Both the Ice Shell and Mahoptima could only be used once, but Mahoptima was more useful given its immediate effect compared to the Ice Shell's long casting time, and its versatility in that Esdeath could follow it up with whatever she wanted.
Also, it doesn't kill her, so that's a plus.
Yep.
Technically, Gray's Ice Devil Slayer magic means he could probably resist the Mahoptopotamus a bit, but then
Mahoptopotamus.
crazy good cold resistance too, and it didn't do him much good against the time freeze.
Gray's speed and versatility meant he could hold his own, but Esdeath's awesome power, uniquely suited time freezing, and domineering perseverance saw her through this battle.
Looks like Esdeath stopped
Oh.
Gray cold.
She threw her arm.
The
I was trying to see what that was. I was like, wait, what? What just happened?
Yeah,
'Cause
she threw
for
the
some reason
frozen arm
that-
into him.
Yeah, it looked like there was a portal for a second, and she stuck it into him. But yeah, she just cut her own arm off. It was like, yeet. All right.
That was pretty cool. No
Yeah.
pun intended.
Wow. Wow. But yeah, it's pretty much, yeah, I pretty much figured that it comes down to those two abilities. Him either absorbing ice or her stopping ice. I mean, stopping the cold. But as soon as I saw how much damage she does, like the whole pentatons thing, it's like you can't ignore that.
Yeah.
You can't. And I'm so glad that we had two characters that both dodged lightning, so they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
kind of
Oh, this
shit.
character's faster than this character, so we got to give him the
Yeah.
win. Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, that
That's
was
cool.
that was enjoyable. That was enjoyable. To happen like I thought it would, though. It's like, I mean, support character versus,
Yeah.
her. It's like,
Yeah, you have to be on caliber. I mean, they both have similar abilities, but her capabilities is so much more than what his were.
definitely.
So how do you think this one fails, or how do you think this one compares to the last one that we watched? The one with Miles.
The last one. Oh, the Miles Morales. Honestly, even though that this is like fresh in my mind, I still didn't. I watched Keke got killed. Probably said that wrong.
Akame got killed.
Akame got killed. Thank you. I'm about to say Keke Genkai, Naruto, or some shit. But even though I watched it, I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't really linked to those characters like I was to like Miles Morales and Static. You know what I mean? It's like those are characters I grew up with. Well, not Miles, but Static and be liking Miles because of the comic, not only the comic, but because of the movie. So I like those. The Barry Allen ones, those were interesting. Sonic, for this one, it was on par of what I thought it would be. It wasn't as interesting as I wanted it to be because, again, I don't really like either character. Because I don't care about the animes that much. But for what it was, I liked it. It was a nice fight. It was really great calculations, and I didn't see any fault with this as much as I saw fault with like the other ones.
Yeah, it seemed pretty. At least to me, it seemed pretty straightforward. There's no like with a lot of the death battle stuff. There's like, okay, well, if they did this, or it's like certain characters may have an ability that they just may not choose to showcase. So if you're a fan of that, you'd be like, wait, then that wouldn't happen because of this and this.
Yeah.
But this was pretty much like, it's pretty much all numbers. Like,
like
she can do.
dry.
Yeah. He had more versatility. Like he could do more stuff, but she had more power behind what she can do. So
Yeah, she was strong.
and he had no defense for it. So it's like, yeah.
And he was limited. Like if he was unlimited, like he can absorb anything, that would be different. But they said that he has a limit to how much he can absorb. So it was like, okay, somebody who can just keep producing, you're not gonna win.
Yeah, that's where the straw is. Because if he, like you said, if he had the ability to, like the Flash with Sonic, where he was able to absorb speed. If he can constantly absorb speed from you, then it's like no matter how fast you get, he's faster. Whereas in this, by him not being able to do that, it's like, okay, she just has to reach the point where it's like, hey, look, I can kill you, and he can't do nothing about it. So,
Also,
still a pretty good episode, though.
Yeah. I still think there's a part that how the theme of the anime also plays into it too.
Mm,
So with this one with her anime, it's all about killing. You know what I mean? It's
mm,
it's war, fighting, and like people die, that kind of thing. With his, not so much. People get hurt, but I don't think I ever seen him kill anybody. You know what I mean? Even in the
yeah,
fight scenes that I saw, they just got knocked out. It's like, where's the finality into this? You know, like everyone's
yeah,
strong enough to just get hurt, and that's about it. So usually in animes like that, there's nothing that's like that dead. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
There's a. They may have like really, really powerful abilities. Like there's abilities there that will wipe out entire towns. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think the one of them was called Fairy Law that they would chose to do whenever somebody attacked their guild or whatever. But like it's like it's like you said, it's like one of those things where it's like they're not killing the bad guys 9 times out of 10. It's like, oh, let me beat them, and they change their mind, and then you learn as they're not as bad as you thought they were. It's
Yeah,
like reminds me of like Naruto, but you have people die in that. But
exactly. But
yeah,
like, in that it's scaled. You know what I mean? And it's like
yeah,
they actually had moves that would that's what it was used for. But
mm,
yeah, I like that. It was cool.
yeah,
Goro versus Machamp.
yeah.
Whoa,
Mm-hmm.
that was a thing.
That was an interesting thing. Yes, 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 sir.
Whoa, on that one,
Maybe we
I'm
could save
trying.
that to the next one.
Yeah. Oh, hold up. Guy Sensei
Mm-hmm.
versus
All Might.
uh no. Oh, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking like that elephant punch when he like punched him like 1,000 times, and then the Phoenix punch. Oh,
Mm-hmm. That was interesting
that's a
too.
good. That's a good one. Damn. Okay.
All right, so you're saying we got a couple more to watch later on, maybe like in the next,
Possible.
the upcoming weeks.
Let us know in the comments below. Do you guys want us to react to All Might versus Guy Sensei, and or a Machamp versus Goro? Let us know that in the comments. If you don't want us to react to it, we.
Yeah, pretty much. But all right, YouTube, you heard the man. We will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.